Hi there, this is Lee, and I'm talking about state and local resistance to big government, which, with the inauguration of Donald J. Trump and the Republican majority in both houses of Congress, Republican majorities in most state legislatures, Republican majorities in most governorships, etc. Big government is the Republican Party now, the party that claims that they're for small government. Republican Party, they are the big government that they've been talking about. So the resistance is building to big government. The script has flipped. And so now it's state and local, democratic, or maybe progressive type cities that are resisting what they perceive as impending big government fights on the horizon. And I describe it that way because there's an article at Common Dreams. Republicans suddenly value big government as cities go liberal. The party of small government aims to use preemptive laws against local cities enacting progressive legislation. And so it seems like there's some hypocrisy being anticipated, unless we get surprised and what we think will happen, the opposite happens. I'm thinking about Scott Pruitt, who's had a lot of, anti EPA type um, activities in the past. Rick Perry, who's perceived as being pro fossil fuels, and then Brian Zink, who's also raised concerns for interior. And the script might flip because Zink has said that he plans to uphold sovereign tribal rights and treaty law. So we don't know until it happens almost. But those of you who are interested in these things might wish to attend those hearings or stay focused on the procedures as the hearings go forward on these Trump picks for administration. And so, again, Republicans are feeling kind of strong. And so it looks like some of them are looking to punish cities who are trying to enact progressive legislation. Localities that have raised the minimum wage above federal levels, or who are seeking to ban hydraulic fracking, they may be targeted by state level Republicans who might consider attacking cities. And it has happened. It has happened already. Legislatures in Michigan and Wisconsin passed laws that preempted local governments from banning plastic grocery bags. And then certain courts have upheld the rights of Colorado and Texas legislatures to prevent municipalities from banning hydraulic fracking within their borders. And then Ohio is the latest state that whose legislator preempted local efforts to raise the minimum wage. And that's after Cleveland tried to boost wages for its lowest paid workers. And so this is what's happening. This is a fight that's been happening, and now that there's so many majorities being held by the Republican Party, people are kind of wondering if it's going to increase, if it's going to be a trend where the state government attacks certain cities in order to enact regressive legislation or to fight against municipalities and, in fact, become the big government that they've always said that they weren't. This is another article. This is at Truthout. Michigan mine gains 2 state permits. Tribe vows to continue fight. This is concerning the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, not the mitten, but the part above the mitten. There's a fight over a mine there, and this concerns sovereign tribal rights, which is maybe Zink's purview. There's an open pit gold, zinc, and copper mine. It would be near the tribal burial site along the Menominee River, the center of the Menominee Indian tribe of Wisconsin. And the name of the mine is the Back 40 mine. They've been fighting it for a few years. And they're trying to stop the mine company from polluting their culture, desecrating their ancestral land, and polluting the water. This fight has not been as widely known as the fight against the Dakota Access Pipeline, but now that there's been a hiatus with the Dakota Access Pipeline, more information is coming forward about pipeline fights in other states, like 10 other states, some territories in Canada where they're fighting mines. And then now in certain other states, like this one in Michigan, they're fighting not a pipeline, but a mine. And so even though it's not fully decided what's happening in North Dakota, other cities and states are paying attention and are fighting back to protect their public health. And so, let's see. And there's also, again, that strange attempt to shape media narratives. There's someone with the Michigan Department of Environmental Quality that says the Menominee tribe has not put forth any comment for or against the mine. He says that they have received nothing, that they're still waiting. And then further down, you see someone else from that same department saying, well, we acknowledge the tribe's concerns, meaning that there has been communication, but all comments have received about the mine have received careful consideration. And so, that's shaping the media narrative, and it might be the case, like just with what Dave Archambault had to do with Sioux Nation against the government organizations attempting to violate Sioux Nation. They might have to start posting evidence of, we did communicate with you our concerns. You're saying that we didn't, but we did. And thereby shape the narrative for themselves. The Menominee is the biggest river system in the Upper Peninsula. It forms the Michigan-Wisconsin border. And it's a chief waterway for the fisheries in that area. And so it's not only an issue of violating tribal rights, sovereignty, sacred lands, burial grounds. It's also the fact that the state of Michigan is permitting a foreign company the right to destroy the water and environmental quality. Because the Back 40 is a mine that's Canadian-based. It's Aquila Resources. They list in this article all the gold and zinc and silver and copper that they hope to extract. And unfortunately, it seems to be the case that there's such an eagerness for wealth that all other priorities are rescinded, and that includes safety of the humans in the vicinity. So I'll post a link in the description to that article, and people can read it. This is another article at TruthDig. As a Donald Trump administration fast approaches, cities and towns gear up for political resistance. And just along these lines of people trying to protect themselves, their environments, their people, their culture, just their way of life, their dignity, things like this, just basic human health. it people are anticipating that they'll have to fight for that. It shouldn't be the case, but they're anticipating that they will. And so, let's see. As the Donald Trump administration fast approaches, cities and towns gear up for political resistance. This is by Sally Nias of Yes Magazine. It's from January 5th. And so this is now an article about the Ho-Chunk Nation. The General Council of the Ho-Chunk Nation of Wisconsin voted to amend its constitution to grant rights to nature itself. If approved by the tribe, the constitution will proclaim in ecosystems and natural communities within the Ho-Chunk territory possess an inherent, fundamental, and inalienable right to exist and thrive. And so they made their stance on that in solidarity with Standing Rock. And other communities are doing the same. There are small towns that are passing community bills of rights, charters, or ordinances that affirm certain rights within a municipality, and that includes Indian nations as well and territories. So not just cities, but actually Indian nations are doing the same. So certain bills have granted the right to a clean environment, safe and affordable housing, healthcare, workers' rights, among many others. And so cities are gearing up to protect themselves from what they see as Republican big government coming or anticipating attacks from them. I'm going to leave a link to this article as well in the description. And so people can see that a lot happens at the state and local level. People want to go to Washington to protest, but it's also happening within cities, within states. And so if you look around, you can see that there's been a slow movement of domination within certain legislatures that really affects the community way of life. Fracking, pipeline building, these are local issues, and it's the local community that has to raise up to fight them. Don't lose sight of what's happening down ballot, down at the local level. You can fight several different ways. They're listed out in these articles. Many communities are gearing up to do that. So I want to wish everyone good luck wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and whatever you're trying to protect. I wish you success. Good luck.